I want you to imagine the happiest day of your life. The flowers, the music, the white dress, the tears in your parents' eyes. Now imagine you're sitting in that wedding hall, and you know something that could destroy every single moment of it. You know something the groom doesn't know. You know something the guests don't know. You know something even the bride hopes you'll never say out loud. And you have exactly one choice to make before they say, I do. Do you stay silent, or do you burn it all down? This is the story of Sarah, and the receipts she had been carrying for 3 months. And before you judge her, you need to hear everything. Sarah is 28 years old. Her sister Megan is 31. Growing up, they were inseparable. Same bedroom until high school. Same friend group. Megan was the popular one, the one who always had a boyfriend, always had a plan, always knew exactly what she wanted. Sarah was the quieter one, the loyal one, the one who showed up, and she showed up her entire life for Megan. So when Megan announced her engagement to Daniel, Sarah was genuinely happy. Daniel was kind, stable, a civil engineer with a good heart. He adored Megan completely. He would have done anything for her. Sarah liked Daniel. Actually, she respected him, which is exactly why what happened next destroyed her. 3 months before the wedding, Sarah was out running errands in the city. She decided to stop by a cafe she and Megan used to go to as kids. She walked in, and there was Megan, sitting in the back corner, laughing, leaning across the table, holding the hand of a man who was not Daniel. Sarah froze. Megan hadn't seen her yet. The man kissed Megan's hand. Megan smiled the way she used to smile when she was a teenager and thought no one was watching. Sarah walked out before Megan could see her. She sat in her car for 45 minutes, just sitting. Now, here is where it gets complicated. Sarah did not go home and immediately call Megan out. She went home and she thought. She thought about Daniel. She thought about the wedding venue already booked. She thought about her parents, who had spent money they didn't have on this wedding. She thought about the 200 guests who had already RSVP'd. And she thought, maybe I misread it. Maybe that was a cousin. Maybe it was nothing. So she waited. And 2 weeks later, she got her answer. She ran into a mutual friend, a girl named Priya, who she had known since college. And Priya, who clearly didn't know she was crossing a line, said something that stopped Sarah cold. She said, "Hey, have you met Megan's friend Marcus? They've been spending a lot of time together lately. I saw them at the gym. I saw them at that cafe on 5th Street. Sarah smiled, nodded, and said nothing. But internally, she now had a name, Marcus. Sarah spent the next 2 weeks battling herself. She drafted a message to Megan 14 times. She deleted it 14 times. She drove to her parents' house to tell them, and then turned around in the driveway. She even called a friend from work and asked, hypothetically, what would you do if you found out someone close to you was cheating on their partner right before their wedding? The friend said, you have to tell him. He deserves to know. But Sarah kept thinking, when? How? The wedding was 6 weeks away, then 5, then 4, then it was 2 weeks out, and the rehearsal dinner was already planned, and Megan had called Sarah crying the night before because she was so overwhelmed with wedding stress. Sarah comforted her. She said, it's going to be beautiful, and she hated herself for it. The receipts were there. She had them. She just didn't know what to do with them. The morning of the wedding, Sarah was Megan's maid of honor. She helped her into the dress. She fixed her veil. She held her hand when she cried happy tears in the mirror, and she kept thinking, say something right now, before any of this goes further. But Megan looked at her through the mirror and said, I'm so glad you're here. You're the only person in the world I completely trust. Sarah said nothing. She handed her the bouquet. The ceremony began. The guests were seated. The string quartet started. Their father walked Megan down the aisle. Daniel was standing at the altar, and when he saw Megan, he started crying. Actual tears. The kind of tears that embarrass a man, and he doesn't care. He just stood there, crying, watching the woman he loved walk toward him. Sarah watched this from the altar, and something inside her broke. She looked at Daniel. She looked at Megan. She looked at Marcus, who she had identified from social media photos, and who was, she now confirmed, sitting in the 3rd row as a guest of the bride's side. He was smiling. He was calm. He was at the wedding of the woman he had been seeing behind the groom's back. And in that moment, Sarah made her decision. The officiant had just finished the opening words. He paused, the way they always do, and said, if anyone here has a reason why these two should not be joined in marriage, speak now or forever hold your peace. Every wedding, that line is a formality. Nobody ever speaks. Sarah spoke. She said, quietly but loud enough, I do. The room went dead silent. 200 people turned and stared at the maid of honor. Megan went white. Sarah looked at Daniel and said, I'm sorry, I've been sitting on this for 3 months and I cannot watch you walk into this without knowing the truth. Megan has been seeing someone else. His name is Marcus. He is sitting in the 3rd row right now. She pointed. Marcus stood up. Megan started crying. Daniel turned to look at Megan, and Megan didn't deny it. That silence, that terrible silence where she could have said, "That's a lie," and didn't, said everything. Daniel walked off the altar. He walked past the guests, past the flowers, past the string quartet, and out the door. He didn't come back. The wedding did not happen. Within 30 minutes, the venue was chaos. Megan's mother was screaming at Sarah in the parking lot. Their father stood between them, saying nothing. Guests were leaving in groups, confused and uncomfortable. Megan locked herself in the bridal suite. She didn't speak to Sarah for 3 weeks. When she finally did, the first words she said were, "You ruined my life." Sarah said, "You were doing that yourself. I just stopped Daniel from being part of the wreckage." Megan hung up. Their mother called Sarah that night and told her she needed to apologize. Sarah asked, "To whom exactly?" Her mother said, "To Megan, to the family, to everyone who came to that wedding." Sarah said, "I'm not apologizing for telling the truth." And then she came to Reddit. She posted her story to r/AITA and asked the question she couldn't stop asking herself. Was I wrong to do it that way? At that moment? In front of everyone? And Reddit answered. The post got over 14,000 upvotes. The top comment, with over 32,000 likes, said, "NTA, you didn't ruin her wedding. She ruined her own wedding the moment she decided to cheat for 3 months and still walk down the aisle. You just made sure one innocent person didn't get destroyed alongside her." Another commenter wrote, "The fact that Marcus was sitting in the audience as a guest. That is so bold, it's almost unhinged. Megan wasn't just cheating, she had completely normalized it in her own mind. Sarah saved Daniel from a lifetime of this." But not everyone agreed. One commenter pushed back. "NTA for wanting to tell Daniel, but the timing was cruel. You could have told him privately the night before. You could have pulled him aside that morning. The public humiliation of 200 people watching was not necessary." Sarah responded in the comments. "I tried to tell him privately. I wrote the message. I deleted it. I was standing at that altar watching him cry, knowing what I knew, and when the officiant said, 'Speak now or forever hold your peace,' I took the only door that was open. I'm not proud of the moment, but I'm not sorry I did it." That reply got 21,000 likes. So here's where we land. Daniel later reached out to Sarah. He thanked her. He said she saved him from the worst mistake of his life, and that he was doing okay. Megan eventually entered therapy. The affair with Marcus ended within weeks of the wedding falling apart. Whether she and Sarah ever fully repaired their relationship, Sarah didn't say. Some receipts, when you hand them over, cost you something too. Sarah knew that walking in. She handed them over anyway. So what do you think? Was Sarah right to speak at that moment? Or should she have found another way? Drop your verdict below. NTA, she did the right thing. YTA, the timing was wrong. ESH, everyone made bad choices here. I'm Guilt Receipts. The receipts don't lie, but they don't always come cheap. Subscribe for new stories every day, and I'll see you in the next verdict.